Magic the Gathering is a game that features a vast and continuous multiverse of stories set across countless planes and that incorporates numerous themes. One of those themes is horror. With the beginning of October, so begins our countdown to Halloween. 30 days, 30 decks, 30 different creatures of the night, all culminating with a special 31st episode on Halloween Day itself. For those of you with a profound fascination of the macabre, I invite you to join me on this venture through 30 days of night. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm MTG Budget Brew, and welcome to day number 4 of our 30 days of night. Today's creature type is horror. I decided to build a reanimator deck because some of the best horrors in the game are really expensive. We have 8 7-drop horror creatures in today's deck. Our 4 rare slots for today's deck are going to 2 copies of Hullbreaker Horror and 2 copies of Toxrill the Corrosive. Hullbreaker Horror is 5 and 2 blue for a 7/8 Kraken Horror with flash. It says, the spell can't be countered. Whenever you cast a spell, choose up to 1, return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, or return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. And then Toxrill the Corrosive is 5 and 2 black for a 7/7 slug horror that says, at the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token, and then you can pay a blue and a black, sacrifice a slug to draw a card. If you've never had to play against either of those creatures before, you're lucky. They are in fact horrifying, and they are 100% kill on-sight creatures. The other horror that we're running in today's deck is Dusk Mangler. It is 5 and 2 black for a 5/4 horror that says, as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, discard a card, or pay 4 life. When this creature enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice, discards a card, and loses 4 life. Dusk Mangler has a pretty devastating ETB. It's really powerful. For the rest of the deck, I'm running Shambling Ghast and Deadly Dispute, classic combo for draw and for ramp in the form of treasure tokens. Then to help us get cards into the graveyard, we're running Bone Shards, Supplier, and Undead Butler. Next, to bring our big bombs out of the graveyard, we are running a full playset of Zombify and Unburial Rites. Our mana base is very simple. I just ran 1 Gate of the Black Dragon and 23 Swamps. Taking a look at my untapped account, we can see that I'm currently 7 and 3 with this deck list, and it's been nice. It's doing pretty well. So let's go hop into some matches and see if we can't maintain that. All right, here we are in game number 1. We are on the draw, and our opening hand is not bad. We have one of our big bombs in our hand, and we have 2 Bone Shards also in our hand, so that way we can discard Hullbreaker Horror, get it into the graveyard. I think for turn 1, I'm just gonna get down the Shambling Ghast. Now I'll get down Gate of the Black Dragon. We'll swing in for 1. Set our opponent to 19. Our opponent played Impact Tremors. That means they're probably trying to go really wide with tokens. So ideally, if we could find Toxrill the Corrosive, we can just blow them out of the water like really badly. Oh, ew. Okay, our opponent is playing an Rask's Forge. It's 2 in red for an artifact that says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put an oil counter on this artifact, then create an X1 red Phyrexian Horror creature token with trample and haste, where X is number of oil counters on this artifact. These things, they get really out of hand very quickly, and our removal spells cannot interact with them really, because the only removal spells we have are Bone Shards, and they work at sorcery speed, not instant. I won't lie, I'm thinking about killing off our own Shambling Ghast. Yeah. We're going to Bone Shards. We're going to discard a card. We're going to target our own Shambling Ghast. We're going to discard Hullbreaker Horror. That'll go into the graveyard. Shambling Ghast will die. We'll create a treasure token, and then we end the turn. We have a Zombify in our hand, which means next turn we can bring back the Hullbreaker Horror. And hopefully, if his deck is this aggressive and it's like, you know, a token deck, hopefully he's not running too much removal. Not only will we have a 7/8 body, which is massive, but then we could bounce his Forge to his hand. So we're going to Zombify. We're going to bring out the Hullbreaker Horror. Our opponent has priority right now, and that scares me a little bit. I could Bone Shards his Daxos right now, which would allow us to bounce his Rask's Forge to his hand. We're going to Fateful Absence our Horror, and we're just going to end the turn. We do go down to 8. Our opponent just played the 1 ring because he's a boring, lame, disgusting player. So we're going to cast the Unburial Rites. We're going to bring back Hullbreaker Horror. And I am going to use the Bone Shards. We're going to kill the Daxos. We're going to discard our Swamp. And we're going to return his Forge to his hand. It sucks. I really didn't want to have to do that. But that'll slow him down a lot. Because he only has 4 lands right now. And it would cost 3 out of his 4 mana just to replay the Forge. Yeah. And the Forge gets replayed. We're gonna take 1 damage from the impact tremors. We're down to 7. Not looking great. Find a Shambling Ghast, which is pretty good. I'm gonna crack the clue token first. We're gonna draw a card. Actually, we're fine. Shambling Ghast is a great top deck. I forgot that it's the horror that we have. I'm going to return the Forge back to their hand again, right? Bounce it to their hand again. Get a Shambling Ghast down. I think I hold onto the last swamp. How much mana do we have? 6. No, I play out the swamp. 6 is really close to 7, and our Dusk Manglers cost 7. Toxrill cost 7. So I think we don't need to keep that card in hand just to potentially discard it. I don't know. It's a tough call. Our opponent plays Kranko, Mob Boss, and a Healer's Hawk. We're going to go down to 5, then... Oh yeah, just 5. They didn't replay their Forge. That's good. Okay, we are in a great spot. We just top decked Bone Shards. We're going to cast the Bone Shards. We're going to destroy Kranko. We're going to sack our Shambling Ghast. Let me check my graveyard real quick. I'm going to kill his Healer's Hawk too. And then we're going to bounce Impact Tremors to his hand. We can seek a card with Gate of the Black Dragon. Found a Deadly Dispute. And we're going to swing. Alright, we set our opponent down to 7. They take 2 from the 1 ring. They go down to 5. It is a close game. If he goes Impact Tremors into the Forge again, we take 1, 2 damage. We go down to 3. They replay the Kranko. That doesn't hurt us at all. That's good. They replay their Impact Tremors. They put another counter on their 1 ring. He's got a blocker. He dies. So I guess we just swing the Hullbreaker Horror. Am I crazy for wanting to potentially sack off the Horror? No, that's not crazy. We sack off the Horror with our Deadly Dispute. We sack this, and now we can bring it back, and we have a blocker. And I think we end the turn there. That was a weird play, but I like having a blocker up because we're down to 5. I don't know if he has Burn in his hand or like Burn in his deck. He might have like a play with fires or something. So if he replays the Forge, that would have been 2 guaranteed damage that we take. 1 from the Impact Tremors and then 1 from his 1/1 token. There goes a second Impact Tremors. If he plays Forge now, we take 2. Plays another land. He still has 5 mana available. Plays Goblin Gang Leader, and we die. All right, here we are in game number 3. Our opponent's going first, and our opening hand looks pretty solid. 3 swamps, Shambling Ghast, double Stitcher Supplier, and a Toxrill. Since we top decked another Stitcher Supplier, I think I want to play one of these. We mill 3 lands in a row. Okay. All right, we just drew into a Zombify. So I think I'm gonna play out double Stitcher Supplier here and hope that we hit one of our big bombs, hit one of our horror cards. We do hit a Dusk Mangler, that's good. We are on track to reanimate that on turn 4. We will need to find 1 more land though. Oh, and there it is. Man, we're good at this game. All right, we're gonna play out our Shambling Ghast. Our opponent played Starnheim Aspirant. I'm gonna swing all 3 of our Stitcher Suppliers. If they block any of them, which they don't, that's a smart thing, we would have just potentially gotten more options in our graveyard. It's no big deal. They're mono white angels, and honestly, I think we should be fine against them. He unfortunately has a second creature right now. Oh my god, he just gave us his Aspirant. There's no way. We block the Aspirant. It takes 1 damage. We put a -1/-1 counter on it from Shambling Ghast. It dies, which means now when we Zombify and bring back Dusk Mangler, they have to sacrifice their Lyra Dawnbringer. That was a huge mistake on his part, dude. If he hadn't swung at us, then he could have sacked off the Aspirant, kept his Lyra alive. That was a really big mistake. We swing in for 3 with our Stitcher Supplier. Opponent's down to 9. He's going to Ossification, our Dusk Mangler. Okay. No big deal, no big deal. He foretells a card. We're swing in with our 3 Stitcher Suppliers. End the turn. He's got to use his Doomscar here, right? Or is it a Starnheim Unleashed? It is Starnheim Unleashed. Okay, he's going to make 2 4/4s. Yeah, I'm going to Deadly Dispute, one of our Stitcher Suppliers. That will get us 3 more mills. That's pretty good. We put a Hullbreaker Horror into our graveyard. Ooh, and we have exactly enough mana to cast Toxrill. Just flat out cast it. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna go for Toxrill. We'll just cast it, hard cast it out of our hand. No attacks. Toxrill will put a -1/-1 counter on both of his angels. So they are now 3/3 flyers. Question is, will he have a second removal spell for Toxrill. Plays an Inspiring Overseer. Gonna gain a life, draw a card. Goes to 7. He plays another land. Takes 6 in the air. He goes to the end step. Toxrill puts counters everywhere. Heals off his Inspiring Overseer. Top deck Zombify. We're gonna play the Zombify, grab the Hullbreaker Horror. We're gonna play Undead Butler. We're gonna bounce one of his tokens into nothingness, and we're gonna swing out. He has to block the Toxrill or he just dies. Here comes Toxrill, takes 3, goes down to 4. We get another slug token. Okay, if he doesn't have a board wipe, this should just be game over. Nice. Hell yeah. Feels good to beat mono white angels. They're very, very annoying and entirely too popular as an archetype. He really threw the game though when he attacked with his Starnheim Aspirant. That was a huge help for us. All right, here we are in another game. I don't love that we have 2 of our horrors in our opening hand, but we do have an undead butler and a Zombify in our hand, which is pretty nice. Second undead butler feels very good. Opponent's running a deck with 73 cards. That's a very weird number. We mill 3 non-land cards, and that's good because we needed a 4th land for our Zombify. We're gonna cast second undead butler. Hope that we mill something good here. We do not mill any of our big boys. It's okay. Swing for 1. Set our opponent to 19. Our opponent plays Bontu's Monument. That's a neat card. Top deck Stitcher Supplier. We're going to play that and still hope we mill something good. We mill a Dusk Mangler so we can reanimate that next turn. Connect for another 2. Set our opponent to 17. I'm hoping that they just play 1 big black creature here. Cast a small guy. Cast a Blightbelly Rat. They kill our Stitcher Supplier with the card Rats Out. 1 black for an instant that says up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. You create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this token can't block. The other card they cast was Scavenger's Talent. It's an enchantment class. First part says whenever 1 or more creatures you control die, create a food token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. I think we stick to our game plan. We just Zombify our Dusk Mangler. Bring it back. Our opponent's going to have to sack a creature, discard a card, and then lose 4 life. I am going to swing both Undead Butlers here. His Blightbelly Rat will kill 1 of them. I'm going to use this opportunity to exile the Undead Butler and bring Shambling Ghast back to our hand, and then we'll cast that. Yeah, because Undead Butler says when this creature enters, you mill 3 cards. But when this creature dies, you may exile the Undead Butler. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And because we have an Unburial Rites in our graveyard, we need a treasure to be able to flash it back. So that's why I exiled the Undead Butler, brought back the Shambling Ghast, so that way we could play that. Our opponent's down to 6 life. I'm going to swing both of these. He's going to block the Undead Butler. That's fine. We have 5 mana. I'm going to exile the Butler. I'm going to bring back another Butler. Sure. Bring another Butler out of the graveyard and then cast that. I should have left up the Shambling Ghast, I think. Well, he probably doesn't attack us, right? Oh, our opponent only has 3 lands. And we just hit land number 7. Yeah, that sucks, dude. That's super nice. We're just going to cast the Dusk Mangler. I'm going to sack a creature. I'm going to sack the Shambling Ghast. We can get the treasure token. And now he's going to sack a creature, discard a card, and lose 4 life. Our opponent goes down to 4. We swing for 1 with Undead Butler. He goes to 3. And that's just going to be game. Oh, he plays Damnation, actually. He wipes the board. I'm going to decline to exile our Undead Butler. Just going to flash back the Unburial Rites, and this is very important. This is why I made sure to guarantee that we got our treasure token off of the Shambling Ghast when we could. Bring back Dusk Mangler for what, a 3rd time? 3rd ETB of this guy? Make our opponent sack another creature, discard another card, and lose his 12th life to Dusk Mangler. The card is disgusting. It is one of the best reanimation targets that really exists in the game. And honestly, it is super slept on. I don't think I've ever had anyone else use Dusk Mangler against me, but its ETB is filthy. Yeah, my friend Rooker MTG, another YouTube channel, He was the one who introduced me to Dusk Mangler, and it really is just a phenomenal reanimation target. Unfortunately, Rooker hasn't posted in a while. He took about a year off, same as I did. And he's not back yet. But hopefully he will return someday. He was an artisan player. And hopefully he sees this. I'm hoping he's at least watching my videos if he's not making his own. Alright, this is going to be our final game. Our opponent's going first. Our opening hand looks pretty good. We have Bone Shards, Shambling Ghast, Supplier, and then 2 Unburial Rites. Dusk Mangler is a great top deck. I think I'm going to play out the Shambling Ghast first. We draw into another land. That's great. Swing in for 1 with Shambling Ghast. Question is, do I play out the Stitcher Supplier? Do I think my top 3 cards are lands? I want to draw into more land. I'm going to play out the Stitcher Supplier. Do I mill lands? I mill 3 non-lands. And in fact, I mill 2 of our big bombs, a Dusk Mangler and a Toxrill. That was a beautiful Stitcher Supplier. Ew. Our opponent just played Ghostly Prison. That's disgusting. Playing a stacks deck. What's the best way to deal with this? Going to Deadly Dispute, attack the Shambling Ghast, make a treasure, draw some cards. I think we're just gonna try to win this game by looping Dusk Mangler 5 times. 5 is a lot of times to get that same ETB, but we have 2 Unburial Rites in our hand already. That's 4. That is 4 ways for us to recur the Dusk Mangler. He plays a second Ghostly Prison. We are literally never swinging at this guy. So we're going to... Ooh, actually, we're going to swing at him once. I don't want to use one of our treasures to cast an Unburial Rites. Not for the front part. Not for the original. So next turn, we'll have our 5th land, and then we can just hard cast Unburial Rites. And that way we can save our 2 treasure tokens for the flashback costs later. So we play our Swamp, cast the Unburial Rites, target Dusk Mangler. Opponent has 5 mana up, 4 cards in hand. Got priority from something. He might have a removal spell, which would actually be good for us. He discards and erase. 1 white for an instant, exile target enchantment. Weird. That is most definitely a sideboard card, not a main board card. Okay. Plays Elspeth, Stormslayer. Planeswalker with 5 loyalty. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. You made 2 1/1 white tokens. Okay, Bone Shards can destroy Planeswalkers. That's really nice. We're going to Bone Shards. We're going to discard a card. We're going to discard the Dusk Mangler that we already have in our hand. And destroy the Elspeth. Play a Swamp. Hard cast Unburial Rites from our hand. Bring back Dusk Mangler number 2. Our opponent sacks 1 of their tokens. He discards a Commanding Presence. Okay, no attacks, and we end the turn. See, next turn we have 7 mana. They're going to exile 1 of our Dusk Manglers. Don't love that. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. We can swing with Dusk Mangler. Do we still have 1 in the graveyard? We don't. We have Toxrill in the graveyard. I'm going to Bone Shards. I'm going to sack our Stitcher Supplier. We're going to use the Bone Shards to destroy his 1/1 token. We mill Hullbreaker Horror. That's nice. Or we are going to go to combat. We are going to pay the 4 mana. Dusk Mangler connects. Sets our opponent down to 5. And do I want to bring something back right now? I could bring Hullbreaker Horror back right now if I wanted to. Or Toxrill. I think we just end the turn. Our opponent has to have removal for Dusk Mangler. If they don't, probably just game. The Banishing Light, the exile Dusk Mangler. Feels bad. All right, we are going to flashback our Unburial Rites. Grab Hullbreaker Horror. And then we are going to flashback Unburial Rites again. Bring back Toxrill. That will trigger Hullbreaker Horror. We will use the Horror to bounce 1 of the Banishing Lights. Dusk Mangler will ETB again. Our opponent has to sack a creature, discard a card, and lose 4 life. That will set them down to 1. Now we have all of our big bombs here. And you know what? We can actually Bone Shards 1 of our own creatures. We're going to destroy Toxrill, sack Dusk Mangler. That's going to trigger Hullbreaker Horror. We bounce their other Banishing Light. ETB triggers again. Our opponent's going to lose 4 life once more. That is crazy. Dusk Mangler damn near soloed our opponent. That was what? 4 Dusk Mangler ETBs? And then he connected once? That's crazy. That was a great showing. That is the power of what our horrors can do. That was beautiful. That was a great match to end things on. I'm glad you guys got to see that. All right, and here we are back on my Untapped account, and I think we were 7-3 when we started, right? We were either 6-4 or 7-3 when we started. If we were 7-3, we had a 70% win rate. And right now we are 12-4. We actually increased our win rate. We're at 75%. which is absolutely crazy. We have a 100% win rate on the play, 50% on the draw. That felt nice. That felt real nice. Yeah, this Reanimator shell is one of my favorite deck lists that I have ever built. It is every card that you see here, and the only thing I change up are the rare / mythic cards. And I do have a preferred 4 that I use, but I don't remember what all 4 are. But yeah, if you're interested in a Reanimator deck list, take this one, swap out the rares to whatever big bombs, whatever big top end you want, and it'll work just fine. Definitely got to keep the Dusk Manglers around. They are phenomenal. But that's going to wrap things up for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did like the video, you should have liked the video. If you liked me, the video, and you like Magic the Gathering, you should consider subscribing to the channel because that'll get you more of all 3. And thank you for joining me on day number 4 of our 30 days of night. I hope to see you guys tomorrow.